Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you are new. My name is Katrina and this is my What's for Dinner series. If you are after some new dinner ideas, this is the channel for you. I upload my weekly grocery hauls and meal plans here, as well as What's for Dinner videos every week or two. I do hope that you consider hitting that subscribe button while you are here. Now let's get into this week's What's for Dinner. So the first dinner that I'm sharing today is the viral TikTok pasta everyone is raving about. For this recipe, you will need cherry tomatoes, a block of feta, garlic, olive oil, herbs, and pasta. First thing I did was wash and halve those cherry tomatoes as they were huge. Then I went ahead and added them to an oven-proof dish. The recipe calls for half a cup of olive oil, so I went ahead and put a little under half a cup on, and then I added on the mixed herbs and just sprinkled those over the top, and then I added in the garlic to taste. I think I just used about half of what I had left, so a couple tablespoons, and then I'm just going to go ahead and mix that together until everything is well coated. So now that all the tomatoes are coated, I'm just going ahead and making a gap in the middle to add in this Danish style feta block. This one's just really good to stir through the pasta. I wasn't sure which feta to get, but a subscriber did tell me that this was the correct one, so I'm happy about that. But then I'm just going ahead and coating that in the sort of juices, the olive oil and herb mix down the bottom, except there still wasn't quite enough there. So I just went ahead and added the remainder of the half a cup of olive oil to the top of that, and also sprinkled it with a few more of those mixed herbs. So then I'm just going to go ahead and put that in the oven for about 45 minutes on 200 degrees, or in the US, I'm pretty sure that's about 400 Fahrenheit. While that is cooking, when it gets to about 10 minutes before it's done, I'm just going ahead and putting these bow ties into a pot of boiling water and getting them cooked. So this is how the viral TikTok pasta turned out once it was baked. It looks delicious. Some people add fresh basil here and swear by the basil being the star of the dish, but I didn't have any this night, so I made it without basil. And if you want my honest, unpopular opinion, I probably wouldn't make it again. It was nice and there was definitely no leftovers on this night, but the huge hype around it really gave me super high hopes for this dish. And maybe if I do ever make it again, I will try adding the basil to see if it makes all the difference. But yeah, it just wasn't as great as people make it out to be, but it was definitely delicious and definitely worth a try. If you do make this, let me know in the comments below what you thought of it. But I just went ahead and mashed with the fork and the masher all of that mixture together, and then added the pasta to that, and that was just as easy as that. So let me know your thoughts on this dish if you make it at home. So the next dish that I'm sharing with you all today is cauliflower soup. Now this recipe was amazing. To be honest, it actually tasted like potato and gravy from KFC. So because the cauliflower is already prepped in this recipe, because I do buy most of my vegetables frozen, I'm just going ahead and chopping up these potatoes to add in. I've got about 6 medium to small potatoes here, just because that's what we had left in the cupboard. But I reckon you could probably add around 4 and it would be enough. So I'm just chopping these up, and then I'm going to go over to the stove top, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of avocado oil to this pot here. You could add any oil that you want for this, and then I'm just going to fry up about an onion, 1 chopped onion, or about a cup of chopped onion into this pot. And once that's cooked down a little bit, I'm going to be adding in some cumin seeds, just about a teaspoon, and then I'm going to be adding the rest of this jar of garlic. I think I've got probably about maybe 2 or 3 teaspoons left in there, and then I'm just going to leave that to cook down a bit in there. And then I'm going to be adding in 2 500-gram bags of frozen cauliflower florets, and then at the same time I'm just going to be adding in those chopped up potatoes that I had prepared earlier. And now that that is all in the pot, I'm just adding in this 1 litre carton of chicken stock here, just in the Campbell's brand. You can have any brand, of course, and you could even add vegetable stock to this, but I do believe that it is the chicken stock that really gave this that potato and gravy from KFC flavour. Because fun fact about me, actually, I used to work at KFC. I worked there for 2 years. It was my very first job when I was 14, and I used to make the potato and gravy, which was one of my first jobs there that they gave me. And to make that, we actually did get the chicken fat from the bottom of the pans and add that into the gravy mix, and then we made the potatoes out of the powder potatoes to make that into the potato and gravy containers. So that is why I do believe with the chicken stock that it really does taste like potato and gravy with the potatoes in this soup as well. So I left that to simmer down for about 20 minutes, and once that was all soft and a fork could easily go through it, I just went ahead and took that over to the bench so that I could blend that down with my stick blender. I do wish that I had another PowerPoint over near the stovetop just so that I could do this over there. It does create mess when I start spreading my cooking around the kitchen, but then I just blended this right down to a completely smooth consistency. It probably took about 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'm just adding in some pepper to this. You'll notice that with 99% of the recipes I share, I never add salt, so I'm just adding in a half a cup of evaporated milk here too, but I just truly believe that it's unnecessary and unhealthy. There is plenty of salt already in a lot of our food, so I just choose not to add it majority of the time. But I've just returned that to the stove to let it simmer on there for about another 5 minutes before serving it up, but I will 100% be making this cauliflower soup again for my family. It was so tasty. So the next dinner idea that I'm sharing with you today is teriyaki chicken rice bowls. So I'm just starting off with dicing up 3 chicken breasts here so that I can get the marinade on and get it in the fridge for an hour before I start cooking dinner. This meal reminds me so much of my meal prep days before I had kids. It was always chicken, broccoli and rice in the freezer. It's just such an easy meal to cook up and batch cook and put into meal prep containers. It's such a well-rounded meal as well. My kids refuse to eat these in bowls though, and I had to have all of the components of the dish separated on their plates, which is exactly what I would have done as a kid, and it always makes me laugh when they do something so petty and then I remember that I was that petty once. My poor mum. So I'm just putting this chicken into a bowl now, and then I'm going to add this teriyaki marinade in the Master Foods brand. I'm just adding about half a jar of this, and I'm going to put the rest in the fridge. And I'm just going to stir that through, and then I'm going to cover that and put it in the fridge for about an hour just to get that marinade really soaked into the chicken. So it's been just over an hour now, and I'm just chucking on a pot of broccoli to boil up for this meal, and then I'm also going to be putting the chicken onto a fry pan. So I'm just adding some avocado oil here. You can use any oil, and then I'm just going to add the chicken to the pan there, and then I'm just going to let that cook away for about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to check on it and just until that is fully cooked through. So the way that I check if it's cooked is I just grab a piece and I just cut it in half, and I see if it's white, and if it does look something like this, then I know it's done. I normally try to grab the biggest piece just to compare, and I'll know the smaller pieces are already cooked. And then I'm just going ahead and being super lazy tonight. Nice, quick and easy dinner, and I'm putting in these brown rice bags into the microwave for 90 seconds, and then I'm going to serve this dish up. Now this dish, as I said, it really took me back to meal prep days, so it kind of felt like I was eating a diet, but I did have a much bigger portion this night. But this tasted delicious. I love this dinner idea, and I really think that you will love it too. So the last meal that I'm sharing with you all in today's What's for Dinner video is the Dupe KFC bowls. These bowls usually have 4 ingredients, so it's super simple to throw together for emergency comfort food when needed. It's hit my top 10 favorite dinners list very quickly, and my whole family can't wait until I make these again. First thing I am doing is just chopping up my potatoes to boil on the stove to make my mashed potato for the base. The original recipe has 4 ingredients, but I haven't added the corn today, so it's just the 3 ingredients. My kids and my partner don't like corn for some reason. I absolutely love it, but I wasn't opening a whole tin just for me. But I think you should add it if you make this dinner at your house, because it would add such a nice, fresh, sweet flavor to the dish. Next, I'm just putting some popcorn chicken into the oven for about 15-20 minutes while the potato boils away. I got 2 types to try, and I have to say, even though these southern style ones had a better tasting crumb, the Steggles ones had a much better quality chicken inside of them. Some of those other ones just looked awful on the inside, so I definitely would go ahead and get the Steggles ones if you were looking at comparing which ones were better. But the southern style ones, the darker ones on this tray, definitely had a much better tasting crumb. But to me, I'm so funny about my chicken and, you know, cutting off the bad bits and stuff. I just couldn't stomach the inside of those other ones. So then I'm going ahead and making up my mashed potato. Normally I just add milk and some pepper and a little bit of butter, but tonight I just added in some extra evaporated milk that we had from the recipe earlier in the week of the cauliflower soup, and it actually tasted pretty good. It made them taste a little creamier than usual, but then I just added a little bit of milk as well there too, just to help get rid of some of that thickness. So now I'm just going ahead and serving this meal up. So I'm just putting the mashed potato on the bottom there, and then I'm going to be adding in a whole bunch of that popcorn chicken on the top, and then I'm just using this super simple gravy packet. You just cut the edge and microwave that for about 40 seconds, and then I'm just drowning that mashed potato and popcorn chicken in gravy. This was definitely my favorite meal this week. Let me know in the comments below which dinner idea was your favorite this week, and don't forget to leave a thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all again in a couple days with a brand new video.